Hello, ma'am. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, thanks. So today we will start with Module 5, Past Continuous Tense. Now, previously, we have done the Present Continuous Tense. Do you remember the Present Continuous? When do we use the Present Continuous?
Present continuous used for like the time today and right now.
Right, yeah, right now is a better phrasing. So, I mean, today, it could be in the future, it could be in the past today, but present continuous is happening right now. So primarily, that we talked about some other different uses of it too. Now, for today, the past continuous is used for the past, but it's something that happened in the past that was interrupted by something. So you'll notice how we use the past continuous only if there's sort of two actions taking place, or maybe even more than one. So this is very useful for talking about more than one thing happening at the same time. And now remember, it could be a real interruption that stops you from doing something, or just a period of time that's sort of a time marker. So let's see how it works. Excuse me. So first, let's look at maybe, why don't you read the first four examples here, please?
Okay. I was watching TV when she called. When the phone rang, she was playing a video game. While we were having a picnic, it started to rain. Do you want to read it all?
Just do one more.
Okay. What were you doing when you heard the news?
Good. Okay. So let's look at that first example sentence. What is the interruption? Can you identify the interruption in that sentence?
Someone called her while she watching TV.
Yeah, that's right. So when she called, so someone called. So that the phone call was the interruption. So I was watching TV when she called. How about the second sentence? What is the interruption?
Okay. The phone rang.
Correct.
Phone rang is a yes.
Yeah. And then notice, we talked about this in a previous lesson when we have these when clauses. When you're writing, if you put the when clause first, you need a comma, like in this one. But notice in the first sentence, the when clause comes second, and so we do not need a comma here. So that's a rule that's important for writing, obviously not important when you're speaking. All right, how about the third sentence? What is the interruption?
It started to rain.
Yeah, correct. So again, we take a look. Notice what verb tense do we use for the interruption? What verb tense is used for that interruption clause?
Past tense.
Correct. So that's the structure here. So the structure is sort of past continuous. So was, were, ing verb, and then past tense to talk about the action that causes the interruption. Similar to the present continuous for a negative sentence. Actually, how about you? Do you remember for a negative sentence, how do we make a negative sentence with the present continuous, because it's the same for the past continuous?
Footnote after verb to be.
Yeah, that's it. So again, in present continuous, it would be is, am, are. For the past continuous, it would be was, were. So was, were are the past forms of the verb to be, and then we just add the word not. And then similar again for the question form. How do we make a question, or what's the difference between a question in the past continuous and just a statement in the past continuous?
The question?
Yeah.
The question is like the verb to be come first before the subject.
Yeah, great.
And yes. And for the statement is like the subject come before the verb to be.
Good. So why don't you try this one here? So the question form was, were they studying when she called? And then how can you change that to a statement, please?
They were studying when she called.
They were studying when she called is correct. Okay, good. Now, you can also use a specific time as the interruption. So even though the interruption, the time isn't stopping you from doing it, it's sort of a time marker, and you can use that as an interruption in these sentences or in this structure. So let's read these 4 examples here, please.
Okay. Last night at 6 p.m., I was eating dinner. At midnight, we were still sitting in a traffic jam. Yesterday at this time, I was working. What were you doing at 8 last night?
Good.
Last night.
Yeah, that's right. So again, you'll notice that the action isn't really being interrupted, but these are just sort of timestamps, and so that's also another use of this past continuous. Okay, so notice that in the simple past, a specific time is used to show when the action began or finished. But in the past continuous, the specific time only interrupts the action. So, for example, I could say, I ate dinner at 6 o'clock, but so that sort of shows the exact time that I ate. But I was eating dinner. That means I was eating dinner before 6 p.m. and I was probably eating dinner after 6 p.m. But that specific time sort of interrupted the action. All right, let's continue. When you use the past continuous with 2 actions, expresses the idea that both actions were happening at the same time. So here are some examples. So notice for these, we're using sort of 2 sort of past continuous clauses. So why don't you just read these first 3 examples here, please.
Okay. I was studying while we was playing video games. So when I studying and then my brother's playing video game at the same time when I was studying, right? The first one, that was meaning.
Yeah, that's right. So so if I say, so last night, what were you doing, and what were you and your family doing? You say, well, last night, I was studying while my brother was playing video games. So these are 2. There's no real interruption here. There's just 2 things happening simultaneously, which means at the same time.